Okay, so I wanna discuss a little bit about this week's parsha, Parshas Re'eh. I think it's a very interesting parsha, and I think there's a lot to learn for our lives from it. If you look at the opening pasuk, it's already a few glaring questions. Re'eh anochi nosan lifnechem hayom bracha uklala. I give in front of you a blessing and a curse. את הברכה אשר תשמעון אל מצוות השם אלוקיכם, אשר אנוכי מצווה אתכם היום, והקללה אם לא תשמעון אל מצוות השם אלוקיכם. You'll get the blessing if you listen to Hashem, and you'll get the curse if you don't listen to Hashem. For me, right away, the striking thing is the first verse. It says, Re'eh, Re'eh is Lashon Yachid, is singular. You should look. It doesn't say Re'u. You should look collectively as a community, but rather you as an individual. Re'eh, take a look. Anochi nosein lefanecha, it should say, but it doesn't say that. It says lifneichem. So it starts with the singular and it ends with the plural. Why does it start with the singular re'eh and end with the plural anochi nosein lifneichem, in front of you as a community? Hayom bracha uklala. There's a few other questions, a few other words that we'll focus on in a second, but I want to share with you something that I learned from my wife this past Friday. She was making chocolate chip cookies here for Shabbos. And then I saw that she was putting some salt on the cookies. And I was like, oh no, you're making a mistake. That's not sugar, that's salt. And she said, no, you don't understand. Anybody who understands anything about baking knows that you put a little bit of salt and that brings out the sweetness from the chocolate chip cookies. And I was like, whoa, I didn't know that. That's amazing. And I think it was so profound. I think it's a lesson for life. Even you can learn lessons from the kitchen. We could write a whole book, Lessons from the Kitchen. It was such a profound lesson, because in order to bring out the sweetness, you need a little bit of salt, a little bit of something that's sour, and that actually brings out something that's more sweet. And I think that's so true in our lives. You know, if everything was easy, we all want our life to be just sweet, just sugar, just honey. Everything should be sweet, right? But if everything was just sweet, it wouldn't be as exciting, right? A game is exciting because there's a challenge. You have to overcome something. You have to beat the opponent. That's when we get excited about life and about winning something, is because there was a challenge, right? So the kids are going to go back to school soon, and it's going to be a challenge for them. But we know that that's an important part of growing up, is facing the different challenges of life. And in fact, if it wasn't for the challenges that we are able to overcome, our life will not be as sweet. The things that make it sweeter are the fact that we had challenges and that we needed to overcome them. And that's sort of like the salt that makes the chocolate chip cookie sweeter, because you sort of, okay, this is my analogy, but I think it's such an important yesod for life. And I think that's also what's going on here in this opening pasuk. Re'eh anochi nosan lifnechem hayom bracha uklala. I'm putting in front of you every single day, there's a blessing and there's a curse. Meaning, in front of our eyes every single day, there are blessings and there are curses. There are opportunities for success and there are opportunities for failure. I'm now here on vacation in Chutz La'aretz with my kids. You know, we came in for the chasna. It's a little bit of a vacation. And you see during vacation how different kids react. Let's say you go on a trip, and the trip is, here you have to travel everywhere. It's 45 minutes. So it's like, are we there yet? Are we there yet? It's a hotter day. So it's like, they're the kids who complain a little bit more. And then there are the kids who are who are enjoying it more. And they say, oh, thank you, Abba and Mommy. Now, it could switch. It depends on the mood and on the mindset of that individual kid on that day, on that trip. Did he have a good night's sleep? Did he get the candy? Did he get the best seat? The mindset is what really defines how they enjoyed that day or how they didn't enjoy that day. So it's an amazing concept of, and it's not just kids, it's also us as adults. We have so many different opportunities that come our way in front of to our doorstep. This pandemic, this anything, any difficulty that we've gone through. Am I seeing a bracha in it, or am I seeing a klala in it? Does it mean that it's all blessings? No. Does it mean that it's all curses? No. but it's up to me to choose to see. And you know what happens? When I choose to see a specific outlook on the situation that I am in, that is the situation that it actually turns into. It's mashpia. It affects who I am today and what I'm experiencing right now. It's not just like this nice thing to focus on the positive and to not focus on the negative. There is the, it's up to us to choose. And by the way, that's what Bechira Chavshis is in front of us. And you should choose it. We also have this at the end of Sefer Dvar, right? Uvacharta b'chaim. This is what the Rambam gives is the core principle of Judaism, where we have Bechira Chavshis, and that Bechira, that ability to choose, is in our ability every single day to decide, to choose, to see the blessings out of whatever it is we're dealing with. And it's our choice. And that mindset, it's amazing, the ability to have that mindset that could change everything. I just had a conversation with a chassan in Kala yesterday, and we were speaking about worrying about the future. And, a lot of times people are worried about what might happen. And there's the unknown, and we're not sure how to overcome certain things. We're not sure how to be matzliach. So I explained to them, worrying, what's worrying? Worrying is you're fantasizing a conclusion, an end to your story, and you're pained and you feel anxious by a reality that didn't actually happen yet. A person who's worried, he feels pain from something that didn't even happen yet, right? It didn't happen. He just thinks that it could happen in his mind, in his fantasy. And I said, the only thing you need to do is switch one little thing. Keep on fantasizing what the end might look like, but try in your mind to say a happy ending to your story. Don't envision the worst case scenario. Envision the best case scenario. Yes, don't hide. Don't be, you have to be a realist and understand that there are challenges along the way, and therefore you might have to confront them. But don't think that you will fall in every single challenge and you won't be able to overcome it. Actually envision yourself successful and that you were able to overcome all your challenges. And then even if you do fall, at the end, right now, you're affecting your current reality, that your reality is not pain, because your reality right now is the reality of simcha, of joy. I said this also on Tu B'Av last week, that I think that's pshat in the Gemara at the end of Maseches Tainis. It says that the Benos Yerushalayim used to go out into the fields and they used to dance. Now, one would think that these girls are going to a singles event and they should be all worried and all anxious. But no, they would go out and dance. Why? And that's why it was the happiest day for Am Yisrael, because they were able to envision the beauty, right? They're able to envision a positive ending to their story. And I think that's what this parasha is about. You need to see the end being a bracha. You need to see your reality right now being a bracha. And that in turn will change your reality. But it's not just that, because it starts off with single and it ends with the plural. It starts off with an individual and it ends with the plural. Why is that? Because our free choice to choose to see the good in our life and not the negative. It's not that we don't have negative, but we're focusing on the good aspects. Not only does it affect me personally, it affects my spouse, my children, my community, Am Yisrael. So Re'eh, you as an individual, look, you decide what you want to look, you decide what you want to see, what you want to focus on. Bracha or klala? Asher anochi nosan lifneichem hayom, because I put this in front of all of you today, and with your ability to choose to see the blessing, you could lift people up around you. If you're choosing to see the negative, we all know this. You go to a place and then you go to a meeting, and a guy comes into the meeting and he says, oh, everything is terrible, it's not good, and it's this and that. And he sort of like brings the entire momentum down. And it's like, it weighs on it. And then you have somebody who comes in and says, I'm so excited. I think we could do this. We got this. And he could bring people up. So how you come in and how you interact with other people, it affects everyone around you. And the Gra adds in this pasuk, and he says, a person might say, I'm already on not such a good track. let's be honest. I like this. This is a great message, Rabbi. This is amazing. I need to be positive. But I have one difficult, I'm already on a negative track. I'm already not doing so well in my life. My relationships are broken. My personal spirituality is down. So what do I do now? Says the Gra, Re'eh anochi nosein. It doesn't say, Re'eh anochi natati lifnechem. It's not like there was a choice that in the beginning of my life that I needed to make, and if I didn't make it, I messed up. Re'eh anochi noten. It's the present. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says every single day, Re'eh anochi noten lifnechem hayom. Every day I'm going to give you a new choice. You can choose today if you want to choose to see the good or to see the bad. If you want to go on this path or to go on this path. So every single day a person has a new chance. There's a new netina, there's a new giving on that day. And if a person says, okay, I want to choose the good, but what about the past? I was a Russia. I made mistakes. I ruined relationships. I didn't daven. I didn't learn. I didn't do, right? So what about me? Can I still choose the good? So that's why it says, today is a new day. Hayomim Bekol Tishmon, the famous Torah of Rav Nachman of Breslov, he says every day, you have to look at every day as if it's a brand new day. Every day, you're only looking at today. You're not worried about what happened yesterday. You're not worried about what happened, what might happen, because we spoke about not being worried. So you're focused on the blessings that you have today. And if you feel, oh, but I can't do it, it's too hard for me, says the Gra, the word Anochi means HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Anochi eheyeh imach. I will be with you. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I will help you. Like the Gemara says, that every day Yetzer Hara jumps on us. And if it wasn't for HaKadosh Baruch Hu holding our hand, we wouldn't be able to defeat him. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I hold your hand. And we'll be able to overcome it. And that's what it means. Re'eh anochi nosen lifnechem. It doesn't say anochi noten lachem, that I'm giving this to you. Anochi noten lifnechem. Hashem says, I'm putting this here on the table in front. This lesson of life is on the table. I'm not giving it to you. You have to look at it and you have to choose to see it and you have to live by it. Anochi nosen lifnechem. So just this opening pasuk of Parshas Re'eh, the opening pasuk of our ability to choose, because in life, you could take away from a person almost anything. You could take away his liberty. You could take away his life. You could take away his money. But there is one thing that you can never take away from a person. And that's his free choice, how he wants to look at the situation that he's in right now. So the person is in the most difficult situations. Natan Sharansky was in the Asirei Tzion. He was in jail in Russia. And when he came out, they asked him, how did you do it? How did you survive? He said, because I wasn't in jail even one day. Not even one day. He chose to see his freedom. He chose to see his ability that he's going to get out of this. He was imagining, Rabbi Wein always spoke about that person who was in the concentration camp that was building his home in his mind. Every night he would go to sleep. And what was he doing in his mind? He was building his house in Eretz Yisrael. He was building his home in Yerushalayim. And that's why he was able to overcome it. That's how he was able to run through it. My father told me the story. I think I showed this to you on Yom HaShoah. It's somebody who survived. His name was Simcha. He came up to my father at the end of one of the shiurim that he gave, and he says, Rabbi, I have to give you this paper. I wrote about my story, how I survived the camps. And he said, when I came into the camps, when they stripped away everything from me, they took away my money, they took away my liberty, they took away my family, and then they took away the basic humanity from me. And they said, you're no longer a person. We're not going to call you Simcha anymore. We're going to give you a number. Your number was 9611960, something like that. I don't remember the exact number, but those were the numbers. And he said, I'm laying there in the barracks at night and I'm looking up and I'm like, they've taken everything away from me. What's the point of living anymore? There's no point of living. And then he said, I looked at my number, my new number, and I started adding it up, and it added to the number 26. That's why it was 916910. That was the number. And he said 26. He comes from a Hasidic home. He said that's the numerical value of Yud Kei Vav Kei, of Hashem's heavenly name. That means that Hashem is right here with me. And he said, I read to myself the pasuk is Kosve Malu. how does it say? Kosvei maluach libecha. I forgot the pasuk. I have to find you that letter. Fascinating letter. And he says it was like it's sealed on my arm. It was sealed on my arm that Hashem will be with me. And that mindset, he was able to take the darkest situation that a human being could be in and that humanity was in. And he chose to see that Hashem is with him. And he chose to see the positivity. He chose to see the goodness of life. And that's something that is unbelievable. That is something that is for us to learn. That is something that is we could choose during this difficult time, the difficult time of this COVID-19, during this difficult time of the unknown of this summer, the difficult time of what's going to be the next year, what's going to be the next school year, what's going to be, I know I'm nervous about that. What's going to be with the shuls Yom Noraim? What's going to be with the winter? We have all of these things that we're concerned about, all these things that we're not sure about. That's what this parsha comes to tell us. Hashem says, I'm putting on the table. There's either a bracha here or there's a klala. You get to choose. And your choice will impact the community around you. And yes, it is challenging. We're not denying that there are challenges, but when we're able to overcome the challenge, we'll understand that that salt, that thing that was bitter, actually made everything else sweeter. And like we're trying to do here in our community, we've taken this opportunity to unite, to meet every single day, to have these daily shiurim, to see one another across different countries. And that's the ability of taking difficult situations and trying to, not just to make the best out of them, but to thrive through them. How many of us that are on here live right now or that are listening to this at home, they could have an opportunity to thrive through this difficult time period. And suddenly there's new opportunities and new experiences and new time that I never thought I had. And now I have the opportunity. That's what this parsha is coming to tell us. Use the opportunity, use the time, make it happen. It's your choice. It's your bechira chavshis. And when you do it, you're going to see bracha in your life. You're going to see blessings in your life, and it's going to change our whole entire life. This is this is what I saw from this week's parsha. I'm excited about it. It gave me chizuk.